Episode 21, Mainline Marlins podcast, special day. We got a special guest.
I'm excited.
Super pumped up about that. But let's just talk. I got two things to say.
Pensacola report.
Yeah, the Blue Wahoos report. One thing we got. I'm just going to give a little announcement. Then after her interview, we can talk about yesterday in Sixto and what happened. And with Dylan Florio pitched. What was Gio's? He did that little simulated game. I think he threw 26, 27 pitches. All of that was good. We came out with the win. We gave up some runs late, but we'll talk about that at the end. But one thing is we're now on Pandora. I got the email today. We're live on Pandora. And so you can go, if you go to our website, mainlinemarlins.com, there's probably, 9 or 10 different options to choose from. So you're definitely going to find one that works. So let me introduce the guest and then we're going to bring her in. Katie Florio, Clemson graduate, worked for Cape Cod baseball. Clemson didn't even have a broadcasting program, but she just dug her heels in and found a way to make it happen. Now she's working for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, our brand new AA affiliate, and they got some really cool stuff going on up there. So let's bring Katie in and see what she's got to say. Katie.
Hello. How are you guys?
Oh my God,
pretty
Katie,
good.
I love your wallpaper.
Oh,
pretty awesome.
You. Yes. It's my little setup up here in the press box. I have a gorgeous view of the field, but right now you should see how I'm improvising. I have a few cardboard boxes blocking out the sunlight so that I didn't look like a ghost. But yes, I cannot complain about the office view that I have.
Before we start, I got to tell you something. I think I've been to almost every stadium in the country. And I think that Pensacola may be one of the most beautiful settings there is. There's one setting that I think may be prettier, and that's Pepperdine Stadium out in Malibu.
Oh, well, Malibu. I mean, I know. How could you go wrong there? I have not seen that one, but yeah, I was, I know we'll get into it later, but I was with the Twins before this, and that's kind of how I got connected with the Blue Wahoos and everything. So when I was first looking it up, because I had not been to Pensacola prior to taking this job. So when I looked up the stadium, I kind of did a double take. I was like, wow, that looks like a good place to be. So very, very excited that everything kind of fell into place and I'm here now.
Right.
Awesome.
So what's crazy is she's from Johnstown. You got to say it the right way too. Johnstown, right near Pittsburgh. And my parents had a place at Deep Creek Lake. So I had a lot of friends from Johnstown. That's how you say it.
That's such a small world.
And you come from a sports family. Your dad played hockey. Your brother plays D1 baseball. Was it just a given that you were going to do something in sports, or what? How did it come about?
Yeah, I really think it was. I know there's a lot of people and a lot of girls. Oh, when did you know you wanted to be a sports reporter? And they kind of have a specific moment or something happened. For me, it's just there's not even a specific moment. I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but my family grew up diehard Yankees fans. My dad's originally from Long Island. And so we have home videos, probably 1999, year 2000. I was 2-3 years old. He taught me to say the whole Yankees lineup like a PA announcer. And so it was just something that was in my blood. Him with the hockey, that, my whole childhood, first 10 years of my life were spent growing up in minor league hockey rinks, around the country, things like that. And so it was just something that, there's nothing, specific happened. It's just what I grew up around and what I knew. And then as I, started to get older and go through school, I really kind of found a passion for storytelling, public speaking, things like that. And so, kind of put 2 and 2 together. And that's really when, probably middle school, early high school was when I found my passion for sports broadcasting and knew that that's what I was going to do with my life.
I love that. And I love how you talk about storytelling. One of the things that we've been the Marlins make it easy, but we've been celebrating March as Women's Month, right? And celebrating the accomplishments of women. And in the Marlins organization, and I include you in that, there's these incredible women doing incredible things and just shattering glass ceilings. And it's interesting. I'm a diehard sports guy, and I love the different voices, right? I love our sports needs to reflect our world. And I love that story because it's like, this isn't new. Women have loved sports forever, right? It's just they were discouraged from going into it. There weren't opportunities. And so I think that this is so great. And we really have enjoyed talking to all the different voices. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, awesome. So went to Clemson, a great sports school on every level, but no broadcasting program there. How tough was it to break into it? Even though you weren't going to leave Clemson, you were going to stay there, but you had to kind of fight for those spots and those opportunities. So talk about that for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I've lived, all up and down the East Coast because of hockey, but we got to South Carolina when I was 5 or 6 years old, thought it would maybe just be another stop in the minor league hockey world, but that's where we ended up staying. That's where my dad got out of hockey and we kind of put our roots down. So I went through all of my schooling in South Carolina. And then when it was time for college, this was back in 2016, I was a senior in high school. I knew for at least college, I really wanted to stay around the Southeast. And I was looking at schools like University of Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, all have renowned broadcasting programs. But Clemson was really up there too. So after going through all of my tours, I got accepted into all of them, had some decisions to make. I just kind of felt like Clemson was where I needed to be. It's something that they talk a lot down there about the Clemson family and the Clemson atmosphere. And it's something you don't truly understand until you're a part of it. But when I was making my decision, something was telling me, okay, I feel like this is where I need to be. And looking back, I think it was the best decision. At first I was worried, okay, if I want to be successful in this industry, I need to major in broadcast journalism. Well, we didn't have that. I graduated with a degree in sports communications. And so I remember sitting down with my parents before college started and just them kind of saying, hey, I think you can really create your own path here, but it's going to be up to you. You're going to have to be a little more aggressive or outspoken or something, and just kind of, like you said, fight for those opportunities. So that's what I did. Aside from just going to my regular classes every day, I looked for as much outside work as possible. I mean, I remember August of 2016, my freshman year, I was knocking on random doors in the athletic department. They had no idea who I was, but I just, wanted to introduce myself, tell them what my goals were, how I could help within Clemson athletics. And so I started, I'll never forget Don Munson. He is our play-by-play guy for Clemson. He does everything: football, basketball, baseball. And he was the first person to give me a chance. I shadowed him that whole semester, went to Dabo Swinney's press conferences every week and interviewed players. And from there, things kind of took off. A website, the Clemson Insider, noticed me. So I switched over and started working for them and spent a great 4 years with them. And eventually from there, it kind of led to internships with local news stations, did some work with ESPNU. Then Cape Cod Baseball League came in junior year. And while I was up there, I also did some freelancing for Fox College Sports. So once I really got confident with, who I was, what I could bring to the table, I feel like other people in the Clemson community saw that and trusted me. And I'm very, very thankful for that. And looking back, it's those opportunities that I feel really kind of set me apart and made me ready for the real world. Once graduation came and it was time to start my post-grad internship with the Twins, I just felt really, really prepared from everyone at Clemson, all the help they gave me and everything I had done outside of my classes.
I love that story. And it's interesting because you're coming on the tail of two Syracuse grads, right? We had David Wilson, the beat writer for the Marlins, and we had
Kelly Sacco, who Fox Sports Florida.
Fox Sports. So they're both Syracuse grads, which of course, like that's
oh, absolutely
a logical, that
is the broadcasting school.
The broadcast school. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So I have a couple observations. One, I'm a big college sports fan, and I don't like Clemson, but I will speak that everyone I know, when you go to a game and there's Clemson fans, home or away, everyone loves the Clemson fans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just they are the true definition of that Southern hospitality. And back when we moved to South Carolina, not having any major professional sports in the state, it's all college down there. It's all college football specifically. And so I remember when we moved there, neighbors, new friends, everyone said to my family, oh, well, are you Clemson or South Carolina? And we didn't really know what they meant. And they're like, oh, you got to pick one. You got to pick one or the other. So we're about 3 hours from Clemson, hour from USC. So we started kind of going, as a sports family, just checking out games at both, and just, again, automatically fell in love with that Clemson atmosphere. And it's so true. I mean, I remember I went to a Clemson football game up in Boston College and had people say, "You guys are the nicest
Yeah,
fans
yeah.
we've
That's what
ever
everyone
met."
says.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll take
so-
Clemson over Alabama any day.
Yeah, I know, there's people, you may not be a fan, but I definitely take pride in the fact that, we want to make it a fun time for everybody and
Yeah,
a
you guys
very
are
fun
good. You guys are good ambassadors. So
Plus, here's another thing: like you're carrying it over like a winning culture from Clemson now to the Pensacola team that is coming off a great year where they were like AA organization of the year. So you're walking into the same scenario where it's a winning culture that they built there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was so lucky to be at Clemson the 3.5 years that I was, and got to work those national championships on the sideline and the semifinals, and just so many great experiences. So I really kind of feel like I was, exposed to one of the highest levels of sports at a really early age, and feel very comfortable, doing that, and just really thankful for all of the experiences, everything, great that happened at Clemson. So yeah, hopefully we can carry that over to the Blue Wahoos.
I love that. So I'm here. I've been to games up there. I could not find, I know I have 2 Pensacola Blue Wahoos hats. I couldn't find them. So I have my Traverse City Pit Spitters shirt on to celebrate minor league baseball.
Nothing wrong with that.
What is it about minor league baseball that makes it so special?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, especially coming off of this crazy year that we've had, and them not being able to play, I can just tell by, I've been here, this is my 3rd week, so I'm very new here. And there's just the culture surrounding at least the Blue Wahoos, starting with the staff and the community. Everybody is so friendly. Everybody is just so excited to be here at the field day in and day out. And I've sat in on many staff meetings by this point, and I've just kind of really observed everything that's going on. And there's just so many, from an employee perspective, so many different things that, I'm able to do. And that's one of the reasons I took this job, was because with minor league baseball, I feel like, you're not coming in and doing one specific thing every single day. There's always room to, grow and improve. And so, I'm really excited to kind of let my creativity flow. And I've already had, lots of freedom to, hey, Katie, like your input is very welcomed and it's very wanted. And what do you think, we should do? And so just again, from a new employee perspective, I just feel like, it's a very tight knit community. You see that with sports a lot, but, being in a town like Pensacola, it's just big enough. There's lots to do. It seems very fun, but at the same time, it's not overwhelming. Everyone kind of knows everyone. They know what's going on in the area. And so I just feel like I'm in a very, very welcoming place. This is a very, very welcoming team. And I'm just, really kind of excited to meet everybody around the community and really dive into things.
Right. Go ahead.
I have one other question about so this is the first year with the Marlins affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
How are you seeing, how does that play out? What's the level of communications with the Marlins organization? What's the interface?
Yeah, no. So we're thrilled to, now be affiliated with the Marlins. I know Pensacola, it's changed, I think 3 times in the past 4 years. They were only with the Twins that one year, but I'm very thankful that's the year they were with the Twins, just because, that's kind of how all of this played out for me. And I know they had a great relationship with the Twins, and now they're really, really excited to establish that relationship with the Marlins. I think logistically it's good that all the minor league teams minus Beloit are, now in the state of Florida. It just kind of feels, when you're all sort of together, you have a better sense of what's going on. But yeah, I've talked a little bit to some of the communications people with the Marlins already, and they've introduced themselves and, hey, if you need anything, reach out. So we're really excited to be partnered with them and help them. They help us, we help them. And, just me specifically, I really want to, I kind of came here to tell those stories of, not only the Pensacola players, but, just help the Marlins brand in general, and really, highlight the players, highlight, all the different storylines that we can talk about. So far, everything has been great. Again, I'm kind of just starting to, meet everybody, but, so many people have been great with introducing themselves, letting us know, they're here to help, and we hope that, we can
Well,
do the same with them.
we're going to put the pressure on you as the season goes on because, I think one of the things, like, we're excited about so many things, but it's the farm system is what's got us excited, right? We got a pipeline going now.
Oh yeah, one of the top 3 farm systems with, the Marlins. So fans are definitely going to see some good baseball here this year. And I think, that's another thing when you were talking about the minor leagues and what makes it so special is a lot of times, from a fan perspective, it's more about when you come to a minor league baseball game, you may not, care as much. All right, who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Like, you're not going to go home that night as a casual fan and be devastated if your team lost. It's more about the overall experience and just, coming out to a beautiful ballpark like this and having a great time with your family. But yeah, at the same time, for those, diehard baseball fans in the Pensacola area, we're excited because they're definitely going to see some good baseball here at this stadium with that farm system that the Marlins do have.
Absolutely. So one of the things that most of our viewers and probably listeners don't know is that Wahoo Stadium is the only stadium that has an Airbnb experience for 10 people, which is so cool. So tell us about that.
Yes. So first of all, the Airbnb people, the ones that run it here, they have done an excellent job. I mean, who would have ever thought to put that in a baseball stadium? But, during the off season, they have, I believe it's, the 10 bedrooms or 10 beds per se in each clubhouse. There's kind of a little room where there's some bunk beds, some little ones, things like that. And then what their goal is I think they want to try to keep it up and running, at least in the visiting clubhouse through the season. So we'll see how that goes, but it's awesome. You can come here, as a big group, have the whole field. I was working the other day. There was a group here. I think it was a bachelor party, and there was a bunch of guys out there, and they were taking BP on the field. But people have taken BP, played kickball, played disc golf, everything like that. So you get the whole field. You can have we have a fabulous chef here. You are able to have him cook your meals for you. You can request things if you want. So we really just want to try to give you, that whole ballpark experience. It really is all in your hands. I was talking with my boss earlier this week about it, and he said at one time a group, they played hide and seek throughout the whole stadium. So it's kind of free reign to do whatever you want, but it obviously got picked up by national news last year, and it has just turned into an absolute hit. And it's so great, especially to do it through a year as challenging as last year, and just kind of bring some excitement, bring some happiness to people, and it's really taken off. And I'm really excited to see where it continues to go, because I know the ones downstairs that run it have put a lot of time, effort, and hard work into it, and it's been successful so far. And I have a good feeling it'll just continue to get even more successful.
Yeah, you guys, sorry, you guys did some, improvements to the field. You did restore the infield. Mm-hmm. You did some stuff to the work on the outside exterior, because Hurricane Sally came through there and ripped off a bunch of the signage and some of the cool things about the facade of the outside. Talk about some of those improvements and things like that around the ballpark that are going to be different this season.
Right. So I was obviously not here yet when Hurricane Sally hit, but just from the people I've met so far, they said that, the damage was pretty extensive. So first and foremost, we're lucky that, everybody that worked here was safe when through that whole storm. But yeah, the outfield wall was ripped off. Like you said, the signage, I believe the carpet downstairs, a lot of people were displaced out of their offices and cubicles downstairs because all of that carpet had to be taken out and redone just from the flooding and water damage and things like that. But they've worked really hard to kind of get things back up and running. Dustin, our grounds crew guy, he's out there every day. I've seen him again watching through my office every day out there working really, really hard on the field. They just got a really pretty new big mural sign that is now in place. I came down a month ago just to visit Pensacola before I moved here, and there was nothing there. You could see where all the signs had been ripped off, and there were some holes in the wall from where they drilled. But between that time and when I started, they have that new sign up. It looks gorgeous. It's right when you walk in. It's very welcoming. So the improvements have definitely, they're taking place. You can tell things are kind of starting to go get back together, and the field's looking better each day. So we're, very lucky that that is, behind us, and we're moving on from that. Hopefully, we don't get hit again this year with anything extensive. One of the main bridges, though, right here that connects Pensacola to Gulf Breeze, that was taken out, and I know that that's been really hard for a lot of people that live there and commute into Pensacola every day. They now have to go completely around. So something that was, a 10-15 minute drive for them is now over an hour. So it's definitely been some lasting damage in the area. But from what I've observed, everyone's working hard to kind of get those improvements in place. And by the start of the season, we should be good to go with everything. But most importantly, everyone was safe. So we're happy about that, and hope that we don't have to deal with that again this year.
One quick logistics questions. When are you anticipating? When are players going to be on the field?
That's a good question that I don't have a specific time frame yet. So I don't want to, say something that could potentially change. But as we talk, as a staff and as a communications department, those logistics are still kind of being put in place, and
Gotcha.
and we'll obviously, let the public know as soon as we have.
Yeah, we'll expect a full report from
Right.
Pensacola, from the
Yeah,
Pensacola.
absolutely.
At least, pop up her Twitter on there and Instagram so people can follow her. That
Yeah,
I got a little
please do.
caption for it. There we go.
Katie
I was
Florio
excited.
on all my socials, and just really excited. We had high school baseball here last night, actually.
Saw
So
that.
I was just going to say that's what I saw, and I loved it. It's such a great experience for those high school kids to be playing on, the big field. And it brought back memories for me. And it's funny. I read that article, and it was so cool. So I'm definitely following you now, so I can keep up with this.
Right.
Yeah, no, they loved it.
Baseball.
I did some post-game interviews with the winning pitcher and winning coach after the game. And, that's one of the first things I asked, as a 17, 18-year-old kid, you're playing on a field like this. And it was great. It rained all day, so we were a little nervous, are we going to get this game in? But it stopped just in time, and the weather was perfect. We had a really good crowd as well. So just everything about it was a good game. So everything about the atmosphere was good. And it was just good to kind of feel that sense of normalcy again, and see baseball being played here, and see people walking around happy and things like that. So it was a good night.
You haven't had a chance to go to a spring training game yet, right?
Correct. I have not.
And, it was interesting. We went to the first Marlins game. And as we stepped out of the car, we were up in West ballpark of the Palm Beaches. And as you stepped out of the car, I remember like the family next to me came out like in Angels gear. Then there was somebody else in Yankees. And it was like, whoa, like this is just people
Want to see baseball.
Celebrating going back to
absolutely.
baseball.
Absolutely. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I don't think it matters who you root for. If you're in the area and there's activity going on, there's baseball going on, by all means go check it out. And that's really what we want to do, not only with baseball this year, but with our events. I think we're going to have 6 home games in a row, and then the team's going to go on the road for the next week, and it's going to flip-flop, back and forth like that. So the weeks where the team is not playing here at this stadium, we already have a list of events that we're going to, continue to put on through baseball season. There's a movie night in April, some other things coming up. And that's what we want to encourage again, after such a challenging year. Just, come out and have a good time, obviously in a safe way. Our main priority is, to still follow health and safety guidelines and make sure that, fans are staying safe. And we have a great staff that is, very committed to doing that. But just, come on out, enjoy the weather and enjoy the good times, and kind of get back to that normalcy.
Right.
Well, we look forward to hosting you down here also.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So I went online yesterday, and I saw where the mascot, the Blue Wahoo's mascot position is open. I just wondered what the chances of me getting that. Like, what is the suit size? And I don't want to have
and
to
how
make
many
any custom.
beers do you get per game?
Yeah, how many beers do you get?
Exactly. It's funny because they were doing some interviews for it in the office next to me, and I kind of overheard them talking about some of the requirements, and it's things that I would never think about. You do have to be between the ranges of a certain height in order to fit in the costume. Obviously, if you're going to wear a costume like that during a Pensacola summer, you got to stay well hydrated. That's a big priority. So So yes, we are in the process of that.
So basically, you're saying I got no chance.
Yeah,
is what you're
basically.
saying.
we'll see.
Basically-
You never know what can happen, but apparently
Basically-
Kazoo,
Apply elsewhere.
right.
That's his name, Kazoo.
and he is a huge.
How cool is that?
Isn't that so cool? Yeah, he's a huge hit
Yeah.
here. Goes out, does a ton of community events and things as well, and obviously the kids love him. So yes, I'm very excited to see who we hire as our next mascot and meet him or her and see how they do, because I know it's
Right
a very,
on.
very important position.
Well, this is
I want to
very
give her a
exciting.
chance, because as we celebrate women in sports this month, give Katie an opportunity to speak to some high school girl or some college student that's thinking about going into broadcasting from your perspective. Now you've gotten some success, you've achieved some success, but you know how difficult it can be to get there. Just
Right.
like speak to that person out there that's listening right now to give them some encouragement and tell them that it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something where I feel like in my years of doing this, I certainly have come a long way, but I'm still learning every day. It's a learning process every day. And I'm very thankful that through my time in college and the time that I've, from graduating and now, I've had both men and women who have just, trusted in me and believed in me. And I think it all starts back to when my story of Clemson, where I was, an 18-year-old freshman, nobody knew me there yet. And they kind of took a chance on me. And that's all it really takes, is when someone does give you an opportunity, take that and run with it. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to kind of follow the lines of the job description and just come in and do what you're supposed to do, but put your ideas out there. You have to go. It's such a competitive industry, and, in a way that can be good, because it does push you to absolutely be the best version of yourself. But at the same time, it also feels like a very tight-knit group as well. And, I've met a lot of girls through school and outside of school where we're all trying to accomplish, the same goals, but at the same time, we're all learning from each other. I have reporters and on regional and national levels that I follow on social media and say, oh, I really like what they did there, and things like that. And I'm, starting to get that from girls younger than me. Hey, I saw this that you did. I really like that. Can you give me some advice? So I would just say, you can't be afraid to be who you are and really put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to make mistakes too. I know in the broadcasting industry, it can be a lot, kind of all eyes are on you. You feel like maybe you can't mess up, but that's not the case, because if you don't mess up, if you don't make mistakes, you're never going to learn. So you just kind of have to learn how to grow from those mistakes and keep putting your best foot forward. But at the same time, I would also say, don't forget to enjoy the journey, because it's such a incredible field where you are able to interact and meet so many different people. And I do think maybe there was some times in college where I was so worried about future success and, okay, I have to get a job right out of school and I have to do this and I have to do this. But looking back, it all fell into place like it should have. And so don't be afraid, don't be afraid to kind of take some time to just take a deep breath and enjoy where you are in the moment. I love the phrase, bloom where you're planted. Take what you have now and work with that before you start worrying, about the future. So that's something that I feel I've done a better job of in the past few years, and am definitely going to, keep doing.
Well said.
I love
well
that.
said.
I got to tell you, I love that. It reminds me of a story I heard one time where some coach, I should remember who it was. And he told a story about, he was from Notre Dame with, who's the coach? Lou
Holtz.
Lou Holtz. He came from the Lou Holtz tree, and he got a starting coaching job at some small school. And he's like, I called Coach Holtz up and I was like, hey, I got this job. It's a pretty terrible job, but it's a head coaching job. And he said, Holtz just like ripped into him. Like, there's no such thing as a bad job. Like, make it a good job. And you just reminded me how you said that. Make it a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it a good job. Learn everything you possibly can, because, the little jobs, that's what's going to prepare you for, the big job or the dream job one day. And every stop I've had so far, I've learned different things and different skill sets. And overall, it's just, made me a better reporter and, just overall, better at what I'm doing. So yeah, absolutely.
I have one reaction to what you said. So I have I have one daughter, an 8-year-old daughter. She's very active in sports, plays baseball. And it's been interesting to watch, as we do these interviews, because the one thing that I would say is, like, Kelly is starting to do some play-by-play, and I don't know what advice she's getting, but like I love when she talks about Syracuse softball. I love when she brings her personality into it. And
Absolutely.
that's the one recommendation I would give to the young people is like the people who are making it, they have a distinctive personality. And I think that you guys can be afraid to show that personality because there's a cost for that. But there's also for us, the fans, like we feel part of it. Like we're listening to these games every day. And when you put your personality out there, whether we like your personality or not, frankly, it makes us remember it's
you are
provocative.
who you are. Exactly. No, I completely agree with that. And that's something, again, back in college, I would follow those reporters and, oh, I like what they said here. I need to do this. I need to do this. But looking back at all my work, my best interviews, my best stand-ups, things like that are when I was just, myself. And there's been times when, I've even had people tell me, hey, maybe you should try to work on your voice, maybe that Southern accent. Don't know if that's gonna hinder
don't
anything.
change that.
I personally don't think it's, that strong. But hey, you know what? That's who I am. And that's, when I do my best work is when I am, who I am. And I like what you mentioned about Kelly and starting to do some play-by-play. It looks like possibly next month I am actually maybe going to start doing some color commentary for the Pensacola Ice Flyers, a hockey team down here. And I'm so excited just because, again, being raised in the South and going to Clemson, that's not a sport that I covered that often, but that's kind of who I feel I am with, that's what I grew up around and was a coach's kid with hockey. And so I feel like that's going to be an opportunity where people are really going to see a side of me that they haven't been able to see, because for the first time, I'm going to be able to kind of bring my whole childhood into my work. So
yeah.
So I'll tell you,
very excited about that.
You don't know this. I'm a big hockey fan, and that's one of the rules here is Tommy doesn't let us talk hockey.
Well, now we're gonna let it.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna bust it. So now all I want to know is when we do our next interview is I want to hear all about this. I grew up in Western Canada playing hockey, and I've coached hockey, and University of Miami. Clemson has a college hockey team, by the way.
They do. They have a club team. Yes, they play
D3. Exactly. That's what we have at the University of Miami. But like hockey's alive and well in South Florida. I mean, in Florida in general. So,
what part of Western Canada are you from?
I grew up in Edmonton and Calgary.
Okay. It's crazy because when I was with the Twins, actually, knowing that was going to be a post-grad internship just for the 2020 season, small world, my dad's, one of his former teammates, best friend in his wedding is Bob Woods, the assistant coach of the Minnesota Wild. Bob's from Saskatchewan. So I ended up living with Bob and his family when I was in Minnesota. And so before COVID hit, was going to all the Wild games, meeting all of the people involved in hockey there. And it was so great to, it was like by day I'd go to work baseball, focus on the Twins, and then really got, to know everyone involved with the Wild organization as well. So that was just such a great year.
So cool. I was in Orlando this weekend and I had a meeting. I'm a lawyer and I had like a, proper meeting. And one of the people showed up in a Orlando Solar Bears t-shirt. And she was so impressed. I knew what it was. I was like, of course I know. I mean, we love our minor hockey down here. So I'm looking forward to, I didn't know that side of you. And I'm looking forward to following that also.
For sure. Yeah. So you got to promise that you're going to come back on with us after the hockey play, after the color commentary for that for sure. But then once the Wahoos get back on the field, we'd love to get periodic updates from, what's going on with the team. How are they progressing? Some of the guys that we see coming down and moving up, et cetera. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on today. I really appreciate it. And, just love talking ball. Love that, things are kind of coming back. I'm sure you can tell I'm a very outgoing, talkative person. Love doing things like this. So I am more than happy to come back on, anytime you guys want to chat.
That sounds awesome.
Follow Katie on Twitter.
Yeah, at Instagram. Katie Florio.
And Donna, thank you for tuning in. My wife, Christina, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, reading all the comments. Good job. Yeah,
you're awesome. We're on Team Katie Florio, so we'll be following you this year.
Yeah, thanks so much, Katie, for coming on. Best of luck,
guys.
Best of luck with the color commentary.
Thank you. I'll be sure to let you know how it goes.
All right, go Wahoos.
Go Wahoos.
Wow. They just keep getting better and better. Like the interviews just keep getting better and better.
That was great. I got to tell you, I love.
She's on fire, man.
I love the excitement, and I got to tell you, we have got to do a road trip now. We got to get a jumbo shrimp. Somebody from the jumbo shrimps on here.
Yeah, that's next.
And we can challenge them, like who's your women, who's your representative, who's your female representative for March female.
But I think the Marlins are leading the way when it comes to female in sports, man. This is that was a perfect example. And that girl had it, like, for as young as she is, had her head like on her shoulders, like completely perfect.
I love it. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to hearing more of it. And we'll have to get up there for a game, you and I. And I really would like to have a flow, because no one else is really covering, unless you have a friend in Pensacola, or you're hardcore and, like, subscribing to the Pensacola paper, you're not going to get those updates. And I would love to do a monthly update with the farm clubs.
Let's do it.
And
well, we got the perfect person for it right there. Now we just need a jumbo shrimp, and then we got to find somebody up in Wisconsin.
Yeah, when that gets cranked up.
Yeah. I'm sure the field's still probably covered in snow right now.
Yeah, they're not even. Here she is with this beautiful view. That I guarantee you that field has snow on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got to get. Can we come up with 8 other people to do an Airbnb with us at the Wahoo Stadium?
We're not going there and not staying in the Airbnb.
Oh no,
that's all there is.
We're definitely doing that. I think it's like $100 a person.
We're sleeping in the stadium.
And I'll be pranking the other team too, for sure. Say it's like in the visitors clubhouse. Perfect. I got a surprise for those guys.
Yeah, that was great. I didn't know that. It's funny because, and then the Jumbo Shrimp are the only stadium that has a church on the grounds.
That's cool.
And so here we have the Airbnb.
So you can go to your church and I can go to mine. Yeah, mine's got a diamond on it and some other cool stuff. So let's talk about yesterday just briefly, because I know we're running a little bit over 30 minutes and we try to keep it short. Sixto came out, pitched well. Dylan Florio pitched well. Did Pop pitch yesterday too?
I don't think so.
But then they got lit up at the end and almost ended up giving that game away.
They held by, it was reminiscent of last year, right? Strong opening, decent middle. Yeah. And then the wheels fall off at the end.
Yeah, but I don't think they were listen, Anthony Bass is going to be the closer for that team, and he didn't come in a closing spot yesterday. And if he had, that never would have happened. Tonight, they're playing 6 o'clock game?
Yep, 6.
Trevor Rogers on the bump. And I think that guy's it's in between him and Nick Neidert, man, for that last spot. Neidert was one that gave up some runs yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, he gave up 3 earned runs. Pop did play one inning. That kid's move, he's got some fastball movement. Like I haven't seen that.
Well,
in a
that's
while.
The thing they were talking about, talk about Sixto, talk about excitement.
He hit he over 100 twice.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know about you, but like when I see triple digits on that radar gun.
Now, wait a minute. Remember, this is at Houston. When we were up there, it was saying it was 37 miles an hour. I'm like, dude.
And then all of a sudden you got Sixto hitting on. When I see those
apparently they fixed
digits,
that.
Like it gets my blood going. Like I just can't. It's hard to get. The regular person, he's throwing a breaking ball at 89.
Yeah.
And then coming at you with a 4-seamer.
Yeah.
100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like I get it is like it is, and it's it is amazing when you see his frame, when you see his delivery. It almost doesn't, it's like something out of a movie. You can't believe he throws the ball as hard as he throws it.
Right. He doesn't even look like a super athlete. No, like he's a little bit on kind of like me, except a taller version. That's it. Pretty much.
It's amazing.
He might have longer arms.
Yeah. That I would seeing it hit that 100. It's just like,
but can you imagine like a regular rotation guy just firing spitballs at you like that at 100 constantly? Wow. I'm looking forward to it. So I think they're going to ease him in, man. He's a baby over there, and they're trying to nurture him and make sure that they protect his arm.
I thought it was a good outing. His repertoire of pitches, you can tell he's working through some pitches and figuring out what he's comfortable throwing. I think as a pitcher, what you see guys doing is they want to throw. You saw him shaking off signals. You saw him. He knows he is. If you want to understand where he's at, is he's figuring out the pitches that he knows he can hit his spots with.
Yeah, yeah. And I think in his interview after the game yesterday, he was saying in that first inning there was some spots I missed.
No, he was having trouble with
and then he
control.
came, yeah. But he got it
dialing in.
Yeah,
and
finally.
Just as a student of the game, it's fun to watch him. You could see him; he was not on, and you saw him work it out. Now he has the blessing of you're off, but you're throwing 100 miles per hour.
Right,
you got some room for error. But he seemed to get comfortable. He seemed to find his spots.
He's only going to get better. He's only going to get. That's our number one prospect. I love that kid. I can't wait to. And he switched his jersey to 45, so because his hero is Pedro Martinez. So yeah, looking forward to it. So 6:00 start tonight. I think Corbin's going. Isn't the Nationals? Yeah, against the Nationals. Corbin pitching for the Nats. Trevor Rogers for the Fish, and let's see what happens. Episode 21. It was a lucky one. Katie Florio, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks everybody for listening. Listen, go on our website, mainlinemarlins.com. There's tons of places that you can see all this stuff. You can watch the videos. You can subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Episode 21. In the books, go Fish.